Hi, I'm Benjamin Payne. At the K-12 Education Office at Hillsdale College, we support school founding groups and their efforts to start classical schools across the country. Finding the right leader is one of the first and most important steps to building a successful school. While we do consider experience in education, we seek candidates who exhibit unwavering personal integrity, honesty, courage, and servant-hearted leadership. Perhaps that's you. If you're looking to engage in fulfilling, impactful, and challenging work protecting our nation's future and building up the next generation of virtuous citizens, we'd love to hear from you. I'm looking for strong school leaders right now. Learn more about how you can make a difference at hillsdale.edu/leader. hillsdale.edu/LEADER. That's hillsdale.edu/leader.
Welcome to the Hillsdale College K-12 Classical Education Podcast, bringing you insight into classical education and its unique emphasis on human virtue and moral character, responsible citizenship, content-rich curricula, and teacher-led classrooms. Now your host, Scot Bertram.
Thanks for listening. The Hillsdale College K-12 Classical Education Podcast is part of the Hillsdale College Podcast Network. More episodes at podcast.hillsdale.edu or wherever you get your audio. You also can find more information on topics and ideas discussed on this show at our website, k12.hillsdale.edu.
We're joined by Kim Miller. She's librarian at Hillsdale Academy here in Hillsdale, Michigan, and also assists with summer programming at Slayton Arboretum here at the college. Kim, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Talking today about the Arboretum and the children's garden there specifically and some of the programming happening there. First, tell us a bit about Slayton Arboretum for those who have not been able to make the trip and visit.
Well, Slayton Arboretum, it is 48 acres of like a nature area here in Hillsdale on campus, just behind one of the dormitories. It was established in 1922, so it's over 100 years old. I think that's kind of cool. It has an outdoor lab. The biology students study there. But there's a waterfall, there are a couple ponds, there's a natural amphitheater. They have a lot of trails that a lot of people don't know about that wind around in the back. And the stone gazebos are also a very popular place. So it's a beautiful area for the students to study. It's a beautiful area for the community to use for events. Mm-hmm. Lots of pictures happen there, wedding, prom, that kind of thing. And then currently right now we have a story walk up there. So it
is beautiful if you have a chance to visit if you're in town at any time. So that there's a children's garden at Slayton Arboretum. What's that like, and how is that place specifically designed for children?
Yes. So the children's garden is a little bit separate. It connects to the Arb. There is through the gates a connection, but it's easiest to reach off of Hillsdale Street. The Barber House is kind of the iconic landmark that lets you know that you're there. It's built around and behind the Barber House. And it's this lovely little area that was designed specifically to be for children to play. They really thought as they were designing it to try to design it from a child's perspective, what would really make them wonder and delight at nature around them. And so when they were creating it, that was something they were really trying to do. It's a beautiful space for anyone. I always wonder and delight when I go there, so adults can appreciate it too. But it has these unique features. There's a willow teepee, and it's living willow, so it's green and it's growing every year, but it's this fun little place to play in. Adults don't fit there as well. And they have this tower, for lack of a better term. It's a wooden structure with stairs, and then it just kind of ends. And I know for me as an adult, I kind of think, what's the purpose? But for kids, I have watched them many times. It's been a castle and a fort on the frontier and all kinds of things. They can always turn it into something, which is really fun to watch. Their gardens, they have these raised flower beds that are meant to be sort of sensory. So there are things to taste and touch and smell. They want the kids to really be able to engage in multiple senses. They have a little tasting garden. It has doors. You have to, or gates, I guess, because it's fenced in to protect it from the deer. So you have to open it and
you got
go
to watch out for those deer. That much I know.
Yes, so many deer. But they plant things in there every year to encourage kids to taste new things. Like they'll have alpine strawberries, and white strawberries are sort of a novelty. So the things to encourage kids to try new and different healthy foods.
Mm-hmm.
It's a delight. Oh, and the teapot kaleidoscope. So it looks like a teapot, but it's a big flower pot. And then you look through they have two little eyepieces, and you spin the little planter, and it looks like a kaleidoscope, which is something I've seen kids spend a really long time looking through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just lovely.
I was just talking with one of our art contributors yesterday, and the idea that we are teaching children how to pause to appreciate a work of art. Like when you're a kid, yes. You think, how could you stand in front of something for 15 minutes and just look at it? What are you doing? And as you talk about the kaleidoscope, you think, okay, look, move, but you can spend an awfully long time trying to appreciate all that information and all the possibilities that gives you.
Yes. And the interesting thing is you're saying that is that kids might struggle to pause and appreciate a work of art. That's something we have to teach them a little bit. But I know they have the capability because I've seen them watch a bug for 10 minutes, right? Like nature inspires that in them, and it's sort of tapping into that and carrying it over into other things.
Yeah. What is it about open spaces, outdoor spaces, that really helps to spark the imagination and creativity in our children?
Part of me would say, I don't even know what it is, but I think there's just something deep inside of us that our very humanity that's sort of drawn to nature and inspired by nature. And I think there's something about the openness and freedom for kids' imaginations to be whatever. It's the things they find in nature aren't necessarily telling them, this is how you play with me, the same way that a lot of toys do. And yet kids will turn them into things. I have a toddler, and we made her a little mud kitchen, and I'm constantly amazed by how many things she finds in our yard and turns into food or something. I don't see it, but she sees it. She's inspired by that. And so I think there's something about that freedom to let your imagination roam that really taps into something in kids.
So what kind of programming have you done at the Children's Garden and the Arboretum?
So at the Children's Garden specifically, we've done some story times in the past. So each month we had a themed story time, something nature. One month it was birds, one month it was flowers. And we would have stories that we would read, and then some crafts or activities. And really my biggest goal was to sort of get the kids playing in the garden, because anything I designed was always less fun than what they came up with in the garden. And that's been a lot of fun. And then in the ARB, a lot of times we do the story walk, which if you've ever seen a story walk, a lot of libraries do them. You have these, the book set up in signs, and they're usually set up outdoor in a logical sequence, and you follow the walk and get to enjoy the story. And the nice thing about that for families is that it is not at a specific time. You can work it into your schedule whenever. It's self-guided, and it's free. I like things that are free for families.
Yes, yes. Why do you think nature and literature, like these story time, are such a great combination?
I think that they both tap into children's imaginations in a unique way. I think for literature, a lot of times it provides a jumping off point for the story. I can't tell you how many times working at the school, I have seen kids out in recess playing based off of the story that they're reading in their literature books. And that's always something that I really enjoy. So a lot of times it gives a jumping off point. And then, like I was saying before, nature just has this wide open, they can kind of create anything. And the two combined end up being really, really, really fun. I, a few times, have gone out at the academy. We have woods in our playground, and the kids play out there. And if you walk into the woods during recess, it's like, here's a group playing Little House on the Prairie. Here's a group reenacting a battle that they learned about in history. They take these jumping off points and they just run with them in a way that I think cements it cements what they're learning, cements the literature or that history, cements it in a way that it wouldn't otherwise because they've made it their own through their imagination.
So you can bring literature to nature, and you're working as a librarian. Can you do the reverse? Can you bring nature to literature?
I think probably, yes. I personally am not a good gardener. So if I take anything out of nature, it's going to die. But a very talented person, I think that I've seen teachers have very beautiful classrooms with nature in them. I always sort of look longingly and dream about being able to do the same thing. So I think definitely you could bring nature to the classroom.
How might schools out there incorporate similar programming at their institutions?
I think first is to look around you to find a space that you might have. We are lucky to be so close to the college campus and have the Arboretum available. But I know even in larger cities, there are green spaces everywhere, especially more and more. I think that there have been so many studies on the importance of nature that a lot of cities are working at creating them more. And so look around and find what's available. See if you can build a partnership. I know that one of the things one of our teachers does, I love it every year, when they study the wind in the willows, she does a wind in the willows picnic in the Arboretum. And parents go ahead of time and set it up. They do it very old-timey style. They usually try to get cold tongue, for example. Not something we eat now, but something for the kids to try, something that they talk about in the book. So we try to have foods that they talk about in the book. And the kids have this picnic and they play, and it's absolutely beautiful. It takes a lot of work. It takes help from parents. It takes transporting an entire class. It's only a few blocks, but when it's that many kids, it takes some effort, no matter what the distance is. But it's always a highlight of the year. And every year with the sixth graders, that happens in fifth grade, with the sixth graders, when they talk about favorite books, that is always one of them. And I really think it's that nature experience that's combined with it that helps make it a favorite.
Do you see any particular ages more often than others for the summer programming that you offer at Children's Garden?
It usually tends to be smaller kids. We don't have a lot of teenagers coming for the story times, although I usually get some teenage helpers from school to just be on hand to help little kids with crafts and things. And they always enjoy themselves. I don't think it really matters how big the kid is. They delight in nature.
Yeah. I mean, what's the kind of feedback that you get? They're not filling out cards, I'm sure. But
no.
What do you hear or see from them as they're experiencing things?
Yeah. So, I mean, for the kids, they're just having so much fun. I feel like a lot of the feedback is just the laughter and the joy as they're playing and enjoying and delighting in the things that are available. That, for me, is one of the most important pieces of feedback. But the parents often talk with me about how much they enjoy it, how much they like that. And really, for the Children's Garden, the programming that we have there, so often parents tell me they didn't even know that it existed, or they saw that it existed but didn't know that they were welcome. And so one of the things that I'm always hoping to do is help people in the community realize it was intended to be for the community at large. They want children and members of the community to come and play and enjoy and take some herbs home for your dinner and that kind of thing. They really want it to be a community place.
Yeah. Are there any specific books that you've used for the story time that have worked better than others?
Oh, that's really interesting. One of my favorites was A Seed is Silent. And we talked about different seeds and then had them look around at different seeds. It is such a beautiful book. I highly recommend it. So I really liked that one. I am trying to remember the title. We did a bird book there. Our bird one, I think, was the most popular. The kids really enjoyed that one. They got to make nests when they were done. And so they would go out and find materials and make a nest from things they found in the garden. That one was the most popular.
Kim Miller is librarian at Hillsdale Academy, also assists with summer programming at the Children's Garden and over at Slayton. Kim, thanks so much for joining us here on the Hillsdale College K-12 Classical Education Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Scot Bertram. We invite you to like us on Facebook. Search for Hillsdale College K-12 Classical Education. You also can follow us on Instagram at Hillsdale_K-12. That's Hillsdale_K12 on Instagram. Thank you for listening to the Hillsdale College K-12 Classical Education Podcast, part of the Hillsdale College Podcast Network. More at podcast.hillsdale.edu or wherever you get your audio.